This episode, like all our episodes, contains coarse language and some mature subject matter, so listener discretion is advised. Okay. Are all the prudes gone now? Excellent.
Hit it!
Should we not swear because it's the Christmas episode?
Let's just try to keep it generally clean.
All right. Welcome to the Untitled Bad Movie Podcast, where we have a fucking good time with some fucking bad movies. I'm Robin Caldwell.
And I'm Alesandria Mentari, and today we'll be looking at The Christmas Tree, made in 1991 and directed by flareon and starring a bunch of child voice actors who just learned how to speak. But before we get into that, Robin, how are we feeling today? What has been up with you?
I love your morning radio voice. I've been good. I went to my first improv show since lockdown this past week, which was that was a good time. During intermission, I overheard some other people saying, I don't usually laugh at improv, but I've been laughing at this show. And I was like, that's an ally. That's beautiful.
But I was also, I'm sorry, but if someone said that at a show, I'm like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Why are you here?
I don't usually like improv, but I'll come to this. It was a really good show, though. I mean, they were really funny.
Maybe they were supporting a friend, but it's still like, why are you here?
Yeah. It was a good time. It was still a good time. But overhearing that comment made me laugh a little bit because I was like, you know what? Fair. That is a fair assessment of most improv.
Oh, we got lucky with the improv circles we run in then.
Yeah, Vancouver's got some pretty good stuff happening. Yeah. Really happy about it. And this was actually, we're recording this in November, but the show that I went to was at Little Mountain Gallery, which by the time this episode comes out might no longer be a theater space because it's closing down. So it'll depend on when we release this. But R.I.P. Little Mountain Gallery. Gone too soon.
That's where I took some of my first improv classes and made some really great friends.
Yeah.
Actually, if it wasn't for me taking classes there, I probably would not have met Robin. Or just like...
Actually, yeah. Yeah, we met through a theater company that does work out of that place. So.
Okay,
wow.
How it works is that I went to that specific comedy school. They had a BIPOC meetup night where we just met on Zoom, and I met our friend Brandy, who I knew beforehand, and he mentioned doing a write night thing and I was like, hey, Brandy, can I jump into that? I would like the writing help. And then that's how I met Robin.
Yeah, we met through a writers group.
And we've never met in person, but we're close enough to do a podcast.
We should meet in person, though. Let's do it.
I am double vaxxed, so I am down for it. It's just going to be strange seeing you with legs for the first time.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? By the time this episode comes out, we may have already met in person.
Maybe. I'd be like, wait, so you're not a mermaid? You have legs?
No. No, I just sing like one. What's been new with you? What's going on with you?
Oh, I've been good. As of lately, I've been jumping on dating apps, just trying to see how this is gonna work. And I've actually been talking to a guy for like a week, and he's really cool. The thing is, nice. I feel like I mentioned too quickly that I'm on a podcast, so it's like, oh god, what if he comes on and reads this? Because I'm sorry, it's like, you're a great guy. It's just like dating app stuff. It is rich joke territory. I am just saying.
That's true. Yeah, back when I was on dating apps, I did some stand up about it. It was good times.
It's like they're inherently joke territory. Not you, guy who I've been speaking with. You are great, but it's just a wild ride.
Sometimes it's too soon to introduce them to your public facing persona. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's too soon.
And I will say something I'd like to talk about. Like, I've been on one app. It's called Coffee Meets Bagel. I still don't know why it's called that, but for some reason they seem to be matching me with guys who are like shirtless in their like photos and stuff, and they're like super athletic.
For some reason you're liking shirtless profiles and you're getting matches. That's crazy.
Them. It's like, listen, yo, I like nerds. I like dorky guys. I like nerds basically. People who watch anime in their profile, or also people who say that they really like bubble tea in their profile. I'm like, I could trust you.
Oh yeah, that's a plus.
It's like, I don't see why I'm getting matched or just being shown profiles of these guys who are just flexing. Like, you look great. Like, I'm not complaining there, but it's like, it's not really my type. Like, yeah, I'm a dorky girl all the way.
Yeah, you're not really into like the gym rats.
Yeah, I keep getting matched with like these like really good looking gym rats, and again, it's a nice view, but it's not exactly my type.
Yeah, I feel that.
It's like, yeah, when I've basically, like, just throughout my life, if I've ever met, like, nerdy guys, I would immediately be like, you know what, you seem like the kind of person I'd end up with. It's like, you just know sometimes, like, yeah, that's my general type. And I've never, like, thought that when it came to, like, gym rat dudes who are like, ugh, so fucking swole.
I actually remember there was a guy that I went to high school with who used to be more of, like, a thoughtful kind of, like, nerdy guy, and then he like fell in with the gym rat crowd of my high school, and I just completely lost interest because I was like, the only thing he's talking about now is like protein. Like, we used to talk about music, it used to be way more fun. No.
Yeah, it's like that subset of guys where going to the gym just becomes their personality and not anything else.
Yeah, not to
like going to the gym and getting exercise, it's good, but it's like, you know, you can have hobbies outside of getting swole.
That's true. But like, and obviously if you're listening to this and you're a gym rat, you're the kind of gym rat that listens to podcasts like while you're working out. Yeah. So like we're not talking about you.
Yeah, and you're listening to a bad movie podcast run by two queer women. So like,
thank you for being an ally.
Yeah. Or if you are one of us, then hey, welcome to the squad.
One of us.
Anyways, let's get back to the movie aside from my dating app blunders.
Yeah, so this movie, funny story about this movie, we actually recorded an episode about it this time last year, and then I took forever to edit it, and it didn't come out on time, so we're doing it again this year.
Yeah, and back then I did not have a good grasp on our social medias, but it's cool. I'm just randomly tweeting stuff now, but it's all me tweeting. It's not Robin.
Yes. Well, no, I did tweet once. I one time on a whim, I just tweeted the word movies all lowercase on the account because I thought it was funny.
I saw that and was like, did I do that? Was that a bot?
No. No, it was me.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, we're getting back into the movie. Anyways, it's directed by flareon, which obviously...
That's my favorite Pokemon.
Yeah. It's my least favorite evolution, just throwing that out there. But,
okay.
But, first of all, I did not think that was a real name, but apparently it is. So, good for you.
I love people with an interesting name, because it's like, I bet your parents were cool.
I don't know, there's a TV producer out there, his name is Speed Weed.
I love that.
And I just don't know why he goes by that professionally. Because Speed is a nickname, but his last name is Weed. So it's, hello there, Mr. Weed. How you doing?
Mr. Weed. Oh my god, it's like if Mr. Bean was a stoner.
Mr. Bean.
Oh my god. He's just doing all the same movements, just a lot more slowly and gets distracted more easily.
All right, back to Flareon.
Yeah.
I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So
we'll
anyways, this... like, we just watched it, and I swear, Robin, you looked a little bored throughout the whole time. But
it's not the most interesting movie. We had fun with it, but it's more fun to watch the first time you watch it.
Yeah, because you don't know what you're expecting, or unless you're like me and you just love looking at the janky animation.
Yeah, the animation. Why do the eyes look like that?
Oh, yeah. There are scenes with the children, and their eyes are, like, very wide and bugging out.
Very wide, and they communicate by blinking at each other. It's very strange. It's, yeah. There's, like, that whole scene where they're just blinking at each other. Why did they...
That's how children communicate. Like, I live with my 8-year-old cousin. That's how he communicates with his friends. I pick him up from school, and that's how he talks to his friends. Blink,
I thought
blink,
I thought they just, like, would get on Fortnite and talk to each other, or Minecraft. I don't know, kids.
Well, I don't know, kids are into Minecraft now, and that feels weird to me, because, like, Minecraft was big when I was in middle school and stuff, but not, like, this big, where people are writing fan fiction about Minecraft YouTubers, like...
What?
I'm sorry, I'm still on Tumblr, I see this stuff, and I'm like,
I will never, like, personally speaking, I absolutely hate fan fiction written about real people.
Yeah,
I think
please don't make fan fiction about us, but... No.
Okay, that being said, I would love to read fan fiction about us. I was thinking about it in terms of, like, actual real people that aren't us, but if you want to write fan fiction about us, I personally, don't make it creepy, but, like, yeah. have us, like, you know, go to a fair and have a nice time or something.
No, it's going to be creepy. Like,
it would be creepy. Fan fiction.
And knowing us, we wouldn't get AO3 fanfic where, like, generally there's great writing on that, but we would get Wattpad fanfic.
And then it would get turned into a movie, and then we'd review the movie, and the cycle continues anew.
Yeah, kids are into weird stuff now. Back to the movie. We want to talk about anything else but the movie. We're going to get through this.
It's not a good watch. That being said, I do recommend, if you're listening to this podcast, I think you will get more out of it if you do watch it. And at the time that we're recording this, it is for free on YouTube.
Yeah, nobody wants to copyright claim this.
Check it out. It's 42 minutes long. It's a nice quick watch. It'll get you in the holiday mood. So make yourself a hot cocoa, make yourself an apple cider, a hot toddy, whatever you have. Watch this movie, get in the spirit.
Yeah. Well, I will say that I remember I watched this on a Christmas Eve when everybody else in my family was just chatting in the kitchen, and I have the living room to myself. I'm just going to watch some schlock. And nice. I remembered, there's a horrible Christmas special. I'm going to watch that. And I watched the whole thing while a little bit drunk, you know what? I liked it. I'm just saying, you know me, I love bad movies and bad Christmas specials. There's so many of them. But a lot of them can easily be boring, but I want this so bad it's good. Like this, and A Cinderella Story, A Christmas Wish. Oh, God.
Oh, my God. I know people who are involved in that movie, so I really don't want to talk about it on the show. I know
that too, but it's I'm just someone who loves the original A Cinderella Story. It hurt my soul to watch that.
I still haven't seen it.
I will say, let's just say, it's one of those movies where people saying it, but it's it's very clearly auto-tuned, but yet everybody is acting like the main character is such a great singer, so it's wait, she's very obviously auto-tuned.
I love some excessive auto-tune.
Yeah, it is. Oh, God, it is an experience. It did not get me into
once again, we're talking about a different movie. Okay,
but this movie did get me into the Christmas spirit.
This movie is about a bunch of sad children who have anthropomorphized a tree. Yeah. That is the movie.
I just like to believe that they're super schizophrenic. Poor kids. They're probably, dealing with horrible hallucinations. To me, that's the only logical explanation, but it does not explain the lightning bolt at the end.
Yeah. So they're children, they're living in an orphanage with a horrible woman who is if Miss Hannigan was also an evil stepmother.
Yeah, Miss Hannigan meets the stepmother from Cinderella. And
absolutely.
She kind of talks like this. She's the only voice actress who's really trying.
Yeah, she sounds like she watched The Wizard of Oz and was I'm going to try and sound like the Wicked Witch of the West, and just didn't quite work out.
Well, every other voice actor sounds like they've been tranquilized, or they were children who were born a minute ago. All the other adults, except for the mayor, are oh, well, time to do my routine. Hi, children. Christmas is the time to meet up with your moms and dads. I know you're orphans, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. It was, the voice acting in this is a real treat. It's, they got actual children to play the children, except for there's one of the children is pitch shifted, so that makes me think it was an adult.
Pitch shifted? I thought there was another child. The one who was, listening on Miss Mavilda, I thought that was just a normal adult speaking. I'm why aren't you the main character? You could speak normally.
Yeah, that one was definitely an adult. And then there was also that one kid who had brown hair and a brown sweater who was pitch shifted. He sounded like Alvin and the Chipmunks. It was very weird.
Yeah, the nihilistic one?
Yeah. It's a nihilistic 5-year-old.
Oh, yeah, some of these kids don't have names, so we're just okay, so there's glasses, there's the one who speaks normally, nihilistic kid. Yeah. Some of them don't have names.
It's, So the names that we do learn are, so there are these kids in an orphanage. They think they've befriended a tree that they have named Mrs. Hopewell, which
it's a well of hope.
It's such a weird name for a tree. I would have gone with Chris Pine, but they don't, they just have this friend that's a tree, and they have, there's a dog that comes to the house named Licorice. That's a black dog.
That's a cute name for a dog, honestly.
It is a cute name for a dog. And then there's this family. There's a woman and her husband and their 2 kids.
Judy, and her husband's
Kindle.
name is Judy
Mrs.
Kindle, and her husband's name is Ray. Ray Kindle.
Ray Kindle.
That's a new Kindle model.
Yeah, so he gets a new job that requires her to move into the orphanage for some reason.
He gets a job at I don't know, I think it's a wood mill, and he has to live in a lumber house. So then obviously that means you have to drop your wife and your children in an orphanage because Also the narration says they come to town for a better life. I'm what kind of ass fuck town did they come from?
Yeah, they must have had a really bad life in order for an orphanage to be a step up.
Yeah, it's like, where were they? Boise, Idaho? Or something?
Boy, I don't know if that's fair. I've never been to Boise. Is it bad?
I'm sorry. I don't know anything about Boise. I just stopped there on a flight once, like, connecting flights.
Okay.
But, like, now Boise, Idaho, it's like, if I need to think of a town where, like, barely anything, or, like, a town that sounds boring, I'm just gonna say Boise, Idaho. I'm so sorry to Idahoites.
My only frame of reference for that town is the movie, oh my God, Aubrey Plaza, The To-Do List. I don't know if you've ever seen that one. It's like
heard of it.
It's like a sex comedy that takes place in 1993, but everybody in it is like 30. It's weird. Anyway, that's like my only frame of reference. It's like, oh, I guess.
I don't know if anything happens in the town. I'm sorry. But anyways, they come from some weird town. I don't know. Maybe it's... I'm trying to think. Like, there are also some weird-ass Canadian towns that are probably just...
Moose Jaw.
Oh, I was going to say St. Louis de Haha.
Oh, I don't know that one.
There's a town called St. Louis de Haha.
I love our country.
Anyways, so these people come from St. Louis de Haha or wherever.
Sure.
Some like boring, some town where literally nothing happens because this town is a step up. So husband goes to lumber mill, leaves his wife and children at the orphanage. Also, the children's name are Lily and
Pappy, short for pap smear. I assume. I don't understand. I looked it up, actually, and I was like, what is the name Pappy short for? Because I assumed it was short for something. And I looked it up, and they were like, it means father?
Yeah.
And I was like,
okay. Grandpa, but it's like, why would you name your child father?
Yeah, I don't look at a baby and think, I'm going to name him after a nickname for an old man.
Yeah.
It's this weird decision.
Mr. Pappy.
I would love to see a child named Mr. Anything. I think that would be hilarious. First name Mr., last name Pappy. Yes.
That child is going to get bullied to hell in school.
That child, like, it would have to be a child that you don't care about and you're a sociopath.
Yeah, but, a child's like, you waited 9 months for this child and you're going to name it Mr.
Yeah, you waited 9 months for the child, and then they come out and they're kind of underwhelming as a personality. So you're like, you know what? I'm just going to make them more interesting by giving them a name that'll traumatize them.
The first 2 minutes of their birth, like, you have no personality.
Yeah, this kid's boring as hell. Speaking of, the kids in this movie are boring as hell. I wouldn't
say they're boring. I just swear that they are possessed by something and they have no personality.
Yeah, no, they're definitely they haven't traveled. They haven't gone anywhere. They're boring.
They're not even allowed to go outside because
Mrs.
Mavilda doesn't want the mayor seeing that they're not dressed in new clothes.
Yeah, that's the thing that she does. Okay, so let's talk about the mayor for a second. So he, once a month or once a week or whatever, he delivers money to the orphanage in money bags, which is suspicious as hell.
I'm just saying, you might get accused of being a drug dealer if you just give out cash like that.
Yeah. Here's a bag full of singles. I'm not a stripper, mayor. All right. Like, it's weird. And so so he gives them these money bags, and then she just Mrs. Mavilda, who's she
gambles them away.
She gambles all the money away. And when she does that, it specifies in the movie that every time she plays a hand with the children's money, she goes, and I quote, "Here goes the children's money again." She does it every time she plays a hand. Why does she have friends? If I had a friend who had a catchphrase every time we were gambling together, I wouldn't hang out with that person. Do you know what I mean?
Robin, do you gamble a lot?
No, but like board game nights, you know what I mean?
I mean, honestly, her friends, they're animated real funny. So
yeah, they all kind of look like they look like a Disney baddie.
Thugs.
Yeah, they're just...
Oh, yeah, some of them are very clearly like Horace and Jasper from
101 yeah, absolutely.
But budget.
Absolutely.
It's like, again, it's like stock cartoon thugs.
Yeah.
Basically.
Oh, and then there's that one woman who's just like, high drag, high camp, my hero.
Yeah,
she has one
has,
line.
Like, this martini, and she's like, you know what? I love her.
Yeah, she's great.
I want to spin off about her. Come on, Flammarion Flareon. Like, let's get the sequel from...
It's time. It's time.
Martini Lady.
2021, we're clamoring for it. The public is clamoring for a Christmas Tree 2. Let's do it again.
A Christmas Tree 2. 2 Christmas, 2 tree.
2 Christmas, 2 tree. Yep.
Okay, so, and then anyways, back to the somewhat plot. Judy Kindle and her children move into the orphanage because apparently there's no other place to stay. blah, blah, blah. And what Judy has to do, she has to help Mrs. Mavilda by doing all the chores and shit. It's very Cinderella-ish. When you
and
realize
there's like
that
a
Mrs.
scene
Mavilda
where...
looks... Yeah, Mrs. Mavilda does look like the stepmother, and Judy is kind of dressed like Cinderella.
Yeah, they do kind of model her after, like, first act Cinderella.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking, like, dust the dresser, Cinderella. Get the laundry, Cinderella.
Yeah, and it's not even said in a fun way. There is a scene where she's just kind of listing out chores. There are a couple scenes where she's just listing out chores, and Judy's like,
They can't afford any other animation, so most of the dialogue is exposition dump, so all the characters are just standing there.
Yep.
Like, you're gonna have to go live in the orphanage. Also, just imagine, like, what would this do to a grown woman who's told, like, hi, you gotta live in an orphanage now? It's like, excuse me, what?
Yeah, so she brings her kids, and the kids have to room with the orphans because of reasons.
I don't know what... Yeah, a lot of weird shit is happening in this movie, but the exposition dump just throws all this shit at you.
It's a lot.
Like, Judy has to live in, like, a very attic-like room, very Cinderella-ish. And then her children have to live with the other orphans, and then... Oh my god, I'm blanking out what happens, but basically they just talk like, anyways, over there, that's a tree. We call it Mrs. Hopewell.
Actually, the first scene, I want to talk about this for a second. The first scene with the Kindle kids, we can call them that, right? With Lily and Pappy.
Yeah, the Kindle kids.
The first scene with the Kindle kids and the orphans is actually that scene I was talking about where they're just blinking at each other, and it's very weird.
Yeah.
And then after they finish their blinking ritual, Lily is like, would you like to hold my teddy bear? And then she explains that her teddy bear is missing an arm, and she hopes for Christmas that Santa will bring the bear a new arm. So we've established that the bear is fragile. And then one of the orphans takes the bear, and then there's just, the last shot of the scene is just these kids, like, jostling the bear around and, like, fighting to be the one to hold the bear. And it looks like they're tearing the bear apart. Like, I know that's not what's happening, but it's what it looks like is happening.
Sacrifice the bear.
Yeah,
the Bucky
it's weird.
Barnes bear.
The Bucky Barnes bear. The Bucky bear.
It has one arm, okay?
Yes.
And I could say that. It's a toy bear.
Yes, it would be mean to do it about a real bear.
There is a real bear in this movie.
Oh my god, yeah. It's so scary.
Yeah. Wait, is that sarcasm? Were you actually scared of that bear?
I wasn't actually scared of that bear, but I could tell, like, if I had seen this movie as a kid, that scene would have scared me.
Yeah,
I can
it's
tell.
kind of jarring compared to the
The
other.
bear's
Anyway,
animated. The bear's animated in a very scary way, like very sharp teeth, very big mouth.
Yeah, they put all the animation budget into the bear.
Yes, and the sound effects are like real, actual bear sound effects, which is like that's a primal fear.
The sound mixing in this movie is wild because it's all on the voice. Clearly, aside from the bad voice acting, the sound mixing is just, it sounds kind of uncanny, almost. And I always feel like it's a bad thing in a movie when you're complaining about the sound mixing.
Yeah.
Which is usually something that goes, like, very understated.
Yeah, usually you don't notice it. So.
Yeah. Or sound design, no. Sound mixing, straight up. But, yeah, okay, so moving on, the plot. Oh, yeah, the kids explain to Judy, Mrs. Kindle, hey, there's a tree in the backyard that gives us hope. It's Mrs. Hopewell. We love Mrs. Hopewell.
And she's like, okay. She's not like, oh, that's sad. Like, it's just...
Oh, or like, oh, these children are getting horrible hallucinations from their lack of food. I should increase our food budget.
Yeah.
Also, these children are being fed, like, gruel and shit.
Yeah,
it's, like,
there's a shot where you just see, like, pyramids of dust on their plate, and it looks like just slop or gruel or something. Yeah. It's really unpleasant.
It's the hard enough life for us.
Yep.
Those are the vibes I was getting.
Absolutely. Well, that's why I compared Mavilda to Hannigan. Like, it's very much like somebody who should not be working in childcare ever. And you don't understand how they got the job to begin with.
Yeah, I was in the middle of it. I was like, how did Mrs. Mavilda get this job? Is there, like, nothing else in this town? She can't be a secretary. She can't be, I don't know, I feel like it's the 1950s or something. She can't be a plain old housewife.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, she's too much of a shrew. Like, she's just so unpleasant and annoying. So, like, but I, for one, I like that there's a villain that is also annoying. Like, evil and annoying. I think that's a good combination. We don't see a lot of that. There should be more of that for villains, right?
I mean, yeah, even in Cinderella, the 1950 one, the stepsisters, they're annoying, but they're, like, only evil in tangent with their mother. Like, if you see the sequels, you know that some of them have a good side. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, of course. Also, yes, of course, I have definitely seen the Cinderella sequels because it's me. But their stepmother is just straight up, or the actual stepmother in Cinderella she's a straight up bitch. She's not annoying. She is fucking scary, and that's why that movie scared me as a kid.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is, like, I think it's fun to combine the two because we don't see that.
I'm trying to think who's evil and annoying in
That's
terms
the thing.
of cartoon villains.
I can't think of any, and that's what makes Ms. Mavilda iconic.
It's like the ones that's all tends to be like evil and sassy most of the time, like Scar, Yzma.
Evil and gay.
Oh yeah, also I prepared Mrs. Mavilda to Yzma at one point. You know,
Yeah,
like, pull the lever, Judy.
She doesn't have like. Oh my god, your audio cut out because that was so loud. But she's very like purple in her aesthetic. She doesn't have like the style or the flair or the attention to detail that Yzma has, but she does have a bit of that.
She has some of the energy of Yzma and like how annoying she can be, but it's just annoying, and not like, you know what, I want to be her when I grow up. Annoying. I
don't want to be her when I grow. No, I am talking like actual annoying.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about Yzma.
Okay.
Specifically, where it's like, you know, with the thing with Disney villains, where it's like, yeah, they're a villain, but sometimes, like, you know, you're my hero.
That's what you get for queer coding all your villains, Disney!
Go, it's like, you relate to the villain a bit more, or you just think that they're more sassier than, like, or just more awesome than the hero. Like, I'm just saying, Ursula, she's just this big, beautiful woman who's like, you know what, Princess of the Sea, I'm gonna show you what the human world is like. Yep. And she does exactly that. And you know what? Ursula, you're my hero. Because
she is based on a drag queen, and drag queens, what? Get it done.
Boom, based on Divine.
Yes. R.I.P. Divine.
We gotta stop talking about better movies.
That's all you want to do with this one. It's, yeah.
Well, yeah, okay, what happens next? The mayor, when he notices Judy and the children playing outside, he's like, you know what, I'm gonna give you guys more money. Okay, he doesn't talk like that, but...
Kind of does.
He talks really weirdly.
But
he gives them more bags of money, like a drug dealer.
Yeah. Why is it money bags? It's so suspicious. Like, if any political figure in history, like, outside of, like, Gotham City, I feel like that's a very Gotham City move to just have money bags. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This town is not Gotham, but this town, I don't know what to call it. Let's just call it Buttfuck, New Jersey.
It's not New Jersey. It's further north. This is in Canada.
Okay.
This is Alaska.
I was the thing. Let's just call it Buttfuck, Alberta.
Oh my god. No, even higher up. No, this is the Yukon. They are in the north.
But like, okay, you know, fine. Okay, it's whatever. It's
they try to walk to the North Pole because it's so far north in this movie.
And then the kid, okay, we gotta get there. So, anyways, Mayor gives people more money via bags, and then Mrs. Mavilda gambles it all away. Yeah. Because she has a gambling problem.
Clearly. Yeah, her priorities are just terrible.
Yeah, and I think all the money goes to her awesome drag queen martini drinking friend, I think.
Maybe?
Also, that seems hard to understand, but all you gotta know is that, you know, she didn't lost all the money.
Yeah, and then woke up with a hangover and said, "What a hangover," which is my favorite part of
children's movie.
I love a children's movie that references hangovers due to alcohol.
Oh, like The School of Rock.
Yep. Well, I wouldn't consider that a children's movie. That one was rated PG-13, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Even though the kids in it were younger than that.
I don't know. I think I don't know how much is rated, but I just remember in the trailer that they mentioned hangovers, and the kids are like, "Oh, does that mean you were drunk?"
No, it means I was drunk yesterday.
That movie's iconic.
That movie is
iconic. I've not seen the musical, but I should.
Yeah, I've heard the musical's good too.
Okay, stop talking about better movies. God. And then Mrs. Mavilda, I forgot. She has a weird conversation with Judy. Like, also, first of all, she's in bed just chilling in like a bonnet and a nightgown, and Judy is standing, and they're just talking like an exposition dump, which is literally all the movie.
Yeah, there are so many scenes of just grown-ups talking to each other, and it's shot, reverse shot, reverse shot, and the lips aren't matching up, and it's great.
Yeah, it's totally what you want to see in a Christmas special.
Yeah, definitely.
I forgot what they talked about, but it's basically, I have no more money, so you go away, and I'm just gonna chill here for a bit.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like, she also lets her know, she's like, we're not getting any clothes for the children for Christmas, because the mayor had given her extra money to get the children clothes. Mm-hmm. And she's saying, we're not doing that anymore. And Judy's like, oh, but why not? And because she talks like that. And she like, and she's explaining, she's like, oh, and don't let the children play outside anymore. And she goes, oh, that's because you don't want the mayor to see them playing without clean clothes or something like that, or without nice clothes. She just calls her on it.
And then Mrs. Mavilda's like, oh, right.
Yeah, I love those little moments where she has outbursts and the animators are like, let's really define her facial features in those moments. Like, it just looks like, you described it as like the demonic side of her popping out.
Oh yeah,
there are moments
where like the art style like shifts and she looks kind of,
yeah,
it's real freaky. It's like, oh god, the Christmas demon inside her.
Yeah, she does look like momentarily possessed and it's just popping out.
And then she goes to the children. I forgot what.
Oh, yeah, and before this...
Again, so much weird plot things.
There's so many weird plot things.
Movie.
She also... I don't think we mentioned this. She also explains Christmas to the orphans, because the orphans haven't experienced Christmas before. And so she's...
it's a Christmas special.
Yeah, so she's explaining it to them. And she's saying, like, oh, and we can get the money from the mayor and we can use it to get red velvet for stockings. And they're like, what are stockings? And she's explaining, like, which I think is funny, because stockings, even outside of the context of Christmas, are already a thing. But the kids are like, what are stockings? Because they're that poor.
How do you know that? The children have been stuck inside all their lives.
Yeah. Their only friend is a tree.
They don't speak like that either. That is too clear. The children more speak like this.
The children...
They learned to talk yesterday.
Yeah, they got actual children, which can go really well or it can go very poorly.
It can work and it can also not work.
Yeah, but there were moments where I was like struggling to understand what they were saying.
And this movie, it doesn't come with subtitles or nothing.
Nope. Nope.
And like, yeah. And like, listen, Robin, you thought like, I remember we were. I was like, "Hey, I want to cover Titanic: The Legend Goes on the podcast, dude." And you're like, "No, I don't." You're like, "No, not yet." I'm like, "Okay, well, I have something that's kind of worse and more boring."
This is definitely worse and more boring.
But like, at least stuff is happening in Titanic: The Legend Goes on.
The same stuff over and over again because they repeat animations. This movie also does that. Yeah. Like, there are moments where you can tell that like they didn't want to animate that bit, and so they'll just shoot to like a shot of the outside of the house or something, which is so weird, like in terms of like film language, because it seems like that's a transition between scenes, but it's not. It's just somebody being like, I don't want to animate their mouths anymore. Let's just show the outside for a bit so it can be a single shot of the house.
Robin, do not apply like film theory or cinematic language to
Listen, I have watched over 7 YouTube videos about film theory. I know what I'm talking about.
Are they like 3-hour Jenny Nicholson videos?
No. They are half-hour-long Lindsay Ellis videos and Dan Olson videos.
I mean, let's be real. Dan Olson knows his shit. I'm just saying. It hasn't been out for that long, but I've been watching his video about Jamie Oliver and chicken nuggets on repeat.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Dan Olson, be on the show.
I doubt he would be interested, but he would have some great insights.
I just know that if we do cover the 50 Shades movies, we would bring up so much from Dan Olson.
That's true.
We just talk about all like the fan fiction past of this movie, because that's what fascinates me.
Shout out to Dan Olson's series about the 50 Shades of Grey movies, because they are wonderful. It's a great series.
Like, honestly, like that should be, some of his stuff could be shown in like film schools, honestly, because you just know.
I think some of it is
so much about like the behind the scenes and how story structure works, and how like honestly. Anyways, he's incredible. Like, I would watch a Dan Olson-esque video analyzing a Christmas tree, but there's not a lot to analyze. Yeah,
it's more just like a gut. Like, I was describing this podcast to a friend recently where they were like, oh, it's cool, so you talk about the movies? And I was like, well, sometimes it's just a live on-air recovery of what we just experienced. And that's kind of what it is for this.
After We Collided.
Oh my god, that was, that's the
franchise that you do not want to return to, which is totally okay.
No, I never want to go near that franchise ever again. I hated it.
I'm very sorry, but I can't look away because it's like a train wreck. But I can't look away. They recast most of the characters.
Oh my god, they did.
It is. I'm just saying. Like I know you don't want to go near it, but I would recommend you watch it via YouTube reaction videos because this shit is
okay.
It's kind of hilarious. But moving on. God, we keep talking about other movies. Back to A Christmas Tree. What happens?
So Judy's like, she's explaining Christmas to the kids. She's also saying every year you get a Christmas wish, and Lily's like, I wish for a new arm for my bear, and this other kid's like, that's what you're wishing for? I wish for a bike. And I thought that was very funny for some reason, because he was like, oh, your wish is stupid. I want something that I can't ride around this cobblestone snowy town because we live in the north.
So whatever happens next, Mrs. Mavilda plans to assassinate Judy. No, she doesn't plan to do that. She plans to arrest Judy to falsely accuse her of crime, which is still, like, very intense for a Christmas special.
I loved watching that part of the movie because like Mavilda's like she's talking down the phone to her friend about how they're gonna frame Judy, and it's this whole scene, and the whole time you were like, you could just shoot her, or you could just shoot her maybe. Like it was just like that was the funniest part to me. It was just you giving her notes.
Push her off a cliff or something. Like it's like I don't know, 20th century, early 20th century. You could kill her and no one would know.
Yeah. Exactly. You're like, you don't need an entire plan, Rube Goldberg. Like, you're just like, calm down.
Shove her off the roof and then tell the kids she fell. And then the kids will be like having weird conversation about like, Mrs. Kendall didn't fall. She was pushed. Oh no, mommy was pushed.
Yeah, but it's a Christmas special. You don't want to kill the mom in a Christmas special.
I don't know. Disney movies kill the mom all the time, so why not?
That's true. This is true.
I was giving her notes like, just shoot her!
Oh, yeah.
So my God.
So there's this whole scene where she's like planning out this whole plan. She's like gonna have her friend call Judy for a favor and then plant something on Judy and then call the cops so it looks like Judy's a thief.
So that's why I was just like,
that's the plan.
Her. Also, her friend is like watching TV, kicking back some brews, and he looks like one of the goons from like 101 Dalmatians. Or he looks like Marv from Home Alone with pants that go like all the way up to like his stomach.
Yeah, very high-waisted bad guy pants.
Yeah.
So they're devising this whole plan.
The kid who could speak properly.
Because they're voiced by an adult.
Yeah, she hears it and then she tries to tell the kids, she tries to tell Judy that she's being set up, which is like such a weird thing.
And Judy's, like, on her way out the door. She's like, I can't talk. I've got to go be framed for thievery. And then
just
she's
leaves. Like, tell Mrs. Mavilda. And the kid's like, I can't tell her. And then she tells to tell the other orphans. And this is when so much exposition is thrown in here. I'm like, is the plot starting yet?
I loved that scene because Mavilda enters and the animation. Yeah. You pointed this out to me, actually. I hadn't noticed the animation, but she entered. How does she enter?
Like, her skirt comes floating in for like a few frames, and then you see her upper half. It's like the animators forgot to give her an upper half, and was like, oh, I hope Mr. Flareon doesn't notice. And it stayed in the movie.
Yeah, she walks into the room skirt first.
Kids are like throwing so much exposition because they're talking about going directly to the mayor.
My favorite part of that scene is like she eavesdrops on the kids, finds out what they're talking about, and then comes in and is like, oh, so that's what you think of me, eh? Well, you're going to bed without supper, and that's what you get for listening in on my conversations. And I was like, you just did that to... Okay.
Also, sometimes when you live in the same house with someone, it's like, you hear things. It happens, lady. Mm-hmm. So, honestly, Mrs. Mavilda, you gotta be more secretive when you're talking about murdering people. No, not murdering, framing people for thieves.
Absolutely. Don't use a common shared space to make your dastardly phone calls. Like, you don't go to the living room, you go to your quarters. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So then the kids, I think it's Lily who makes a Christmas wish. What did she specifically say? It's something, but like...
Oh, yeah, she was like, I don't care about my bear's arm anymore. I just want the... Oh, yeah, because Miss...
Hopewell?
Something happens with the tree. There's something with Mrs. Hopewell that... What happens in the middle? God, this movie's so forgettable.
I don't know.
Something happens to...
Like, the plot is forgettable. The animation and the voice acting will haunt your dreams. Yes.
But am I getting this right? So Judy might lose her job, but then the stakes are raised because the tree might get cut down? Is that what's gonna happen?
I don't know. I think Miss Mavilda said something about her friend and his electric chainsaw.
Yeah, maybe that's later. Anyway, so the kids are making a Christmas wish, and I also personally I love the like secular God moment of like, we're not going to talk about God, but Santa is real and he's a star in the sky that hears your wishes. That just cracked me up. I thought that was great. I love when Christmas movies do that, where they're like, we're not going to bring God into it, but Santa is God.
Kind of like the Chronicles of Narnia. It's like, God, we're not going to mention God, but Aslan is God.
But Aslan is Jesus and Santa is real.
No, it's Father Christmas.
Oh, yes, Father Christmas.
And
because they're
Jesus.
British.
Okay, if we get a Patreon, we can have a tier where, like, if you pay enough money, Robin will do an entire podcast in her British accent.
I did not consent to this. What? I never said that, and I never will do that. But
oh, you should.
Sure.
To talk in your British accent. Okay, and all the Brits that I know
was rubbish.
You sound like a kid in like a Nanny McPhee movie. That was rubbish. Honestly, Oh yeah, there was an extra in this movie that suddenly had an English accent. But Luke,
was there?
Oh yeah. Also, as someone who's seen this movie too many times. But no, it was like after Miss Matilda gets hit by lightning, when she's just like, there's a lady who's like, "What? I don't know. She got struck by lightning." It's like,
oh, was she British? I also we'll get to that scene later.
Robin passed out a few times when watching this 40-minute movie.
Yeah, apparently I blacked out because this plot is.
So bored, and I'm just like, okay, this is gonna be a great day.
It was so good.
The plot is genuinely forgettable because we're like, what happened exactly? We're too busy being terrified by the animation.
We watched it not even an hour ago. That's how forgettable the plot is for this movie.
But we remember all the freaky animation and voice acting, but not the plot.
Okay. I figured out what's happening. So the kids are trying to make their Christmas wishes, and then they're like, oh no, what if Santa doesn't hear our wishes? And so Pappy is like, Licorice and I are going to go to the North Pole and find Santa and tell him our wishes. And all the kids are like, of course. And so he gets a sleigh and gets the dog and some blankets, nothing else, just some blankets, a sled, and a dog.
He has no coat at all, which is like, they actually came from
coat.
a family. Did they not get you a coat?
Does he have a hat? He might have a hat.
Yeah, and also, God, I'm forgetting what else is happening. Oh, fuck, I blanked out. Anyways, so he gets on the sleigh, and then they go, and,
Oh, yeah, and then on the journey to the North Pole, something's moving around in the blankets.
They have a map, and the map, it looks like they live on a gingerbread cookie.
Oh, yeah, the map. What the hell is that map?
It's like, oh, here's the North Pole. The North Pole's on the map, but also, it looks like one of those children's books that you would get that have, like, a very overly illustrated version of a map, and you know what? That is cool, but it's also, like, if you follow that map, you are going to get mauled by a bear, which also happens. Almost happens.
Almost happens. But luckily it's a cartoon bear that, like, makes silly Hanna-Barbera sound effects and isn't very good at hunting. So he's on the sled. The blankets in the sled start moving around, and it's Lily! And so we're saying it like that because of something that's coming up. But
she snuck it, and she has food that she stole from the kitchen. It's like,
yes, okay. Because she's a smart person who was like, this might be a long journey. Let's bring some sustenance.
Okay, Mrs. Sticky Fingers, why didn't you do that when these children were starving? You could steal like an extra bowl of, I don't know, gray slop. Yeah,
just an extra bowl of dust for the starving children. So apparently stealing food was always an option, but she just did it when it was only her and her brother. So shows her priorities.
It's like, I thought you loved the other orphans. I thought you cared about them.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyways, they're going through the North Pole. They're not wearing coats, so these kids are going to die of hypothermia.
Absolutely.
Okay, they go by a bear, but doesn't the bear immediately start chasing them?
Isn't the bear? I think the bear's like asleep and then wakes up and becomes terrifying.
It's like, I feel, just keep your shit together and leave. Like if you run into a bear or something, isn't that what they teach you on when you need to survive in North Van?
I don't know. I think, because there are lots of bears in North Bend. You're supposed to, like, make yourself big and move slowly, I think. Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, I get coyotes in my area, but I've never run into one. Which is, honestly, it's alarming because there are so many dogs in my neighborhood, and I Like, I had a dog, so it's like, I'm surprised we haven't run into one, but, you know, we're not really taught anything on how to deal with coyotes, but...
Yeah.
But anyways, this bear, like, it sees this sleigh pulled by a dog running past. Also, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if Licorice is strong enough to be a sleigh dog, but whatevs.
Yeah, the children are...
2 pounds.
They have helium in their lungs, and so they're very light. And so he's
immediately
dragging them
just
along.
Is like, roar, and starts running after them. This is when the
starts
sound
chasing them
effects
around,
get
almost
good.
runs them off a cliff.
The sound effects get good here, where it's
the
like...
The sound effects are amazing.
It's like compared to everything else in the movie, but this,
like actual bear sound effects, actual dog growling sound effects, because Licorice stands up for the kids.
I'm just saying, bear versus dog. I feel like the bear would win, but you know what? It's a cartoon.
Not during this Christian holiday season. So the bear steps on the dog at one point, but the dog is fine. And in fact, like while the bear is stepping on it, he like runs the bear off a cliff.
Yeah, the bear manages to fall off a cliff.
Weird.
And meanwhile, Pappy and Lily are... their sled is knocked on the edge of the cliff, and it's basically a grab my hand moment. Very in a better movie,
Lily's
it would be
about
more
to slip
dramatic.
down.
It would be actually terrifying.
It's not.
But anyways, Lily falls,
and then Lily,
and she slides down this snowy sled like hill and stuff, and Pappy's like, "Oh no, Lily!" In that voice.
And then he, looks around for her, and they did not give this kid any notes to change it up, so he says her name about 16 times in the exact same way.
Lily!
Lily! Lily! Lily! It's so bad. And then he's like, well, she's dead, and so he and Licorice head back to the orphanage, where now Miss Matilda is trying to cut down
Mrs. Hopewell with her friend who has an electric chainsaw,
tree.
So good.
Yes.
That's kind of excessive, but I guess you wanted it to go real quick.
Yeah. So they're about to do that. Judy has returned from getting framed for shoplifting, or is it shoplifting?
I don't know, just
thieving?
Robert. It was so confusing.
Stealing.
Again, they spend so much time just standing there and talking about the plan, just like, okay.
And the plan never comes back.
But it's
so
also
she goes and comes back and it's fine.
I mean, at least make it
she gets
interesting.
back.
Like they're on some Dutch angles, Battlefield Earth.
Yes. So we could talk about Battlefield Earth for an episode. That could be fun.
I haven't seen it before. I just know the Dutch angles and the spell your name thing.
Yeah, let's piss off the Scientologists. So Mrs. Kendall gets back. The kids are around the tree. It's about to get chopped down by Mrs. Matilda's friend.
The tree hugger thing where they...
We shall not be moved.
Yeah, where they hold hands around the tree to not... And then Mrs. Matilda is like, hey, come on, chainsaw guy. Like, keep,
there's
trying.
that, wait, just before that, though, she's like, get out of the way, get back inside, or I'll thrash you one by one. And I loved that line, because it was like, Miss Matilda was like, get back inside, or you could catch these hands. Like, it was just like...
And then Mrs. Kendall's like, not if I have anything to say about it.
Exactly, yeah, she puts him up too, and then suddenly it becomes the best movie we've ever seen because there's a girl fight. No, I wish that had happened.
That happened in Sleepover, though. I love that.
Oh my god, yeah.
Cat fight!
Meow! Oh my god.
Oh god, I'm giving Robin Sleepover flashbacks.
So I'm editing that episode right now, and it's so bad. So what happens after that? So then
they do the tree
hold hands
thing around the tree, and she's like, "Yo,
start
chainsaw guy,
we shall
cut
not
it
be
down."
moved.
And then he's like, "But there are people in the way." Oh, and then the mayor comes.
Oh yeah, the mayor comes out of like nowhere, and he's like, because the weird thing is, it's Christmas Eve, and he's like, "Well, time to go hang out at the orphanage," and he just comes.
I believe that he was just
up.
chilling at a bar, and he's like, "Well, time to go home. I'm not driving."
Yeah, he
tonight.
is. He's not driving. He's getting a ride from somebody. So yeah, he might be drunk in that scene.
And then he runs into all these people here, and is like, "What's going on?" And at some point, like a bunch of other townspeople come out to see what the commotion is.
Yeah, there's a whole crowd of them at that point. And the kids they're not gonna let him chainsaw the tree.
And then who comes?
Oh yeah, and the mayor figures out what's been going on with Miss Matilda. He's like, these kids, they got patches all over their clothes. What the fuck? He doesn't say what the fuck because it's Christmas, but they're like
Christian movie.
It's a Christian holiday, so so yeah, he sees that the kids are all tatty and worn and stuff, and their clothes are all terrible. And he's like, "Oh, Miss Matilda, you haven't been doing anything." And then she, in an act of desperation,
doesn't the kid come back?
I assume. Oh yeah, Lily comes back.
Pappy comes back.
Oh yes, Pappy comes back.
And he's like, "Mom, we lost Lily." And then
and she's way too calm about it too. She's like, "What?"
And then Mrs. Kendall is like, "Hooray!" And then her husband comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, he appears out of nowhere. There's no shot of him walking there or anything. He's just there.
It's like, "Hi."
It's
Judy.
A close-up shot, and then he's at her shoulder. It's perfect.
It's like, "Hi, Judy. I'm always here for you." Oh no, Lily died.
Yep, the most chill couple in the North. And yeah, and then Mrs. Matilda grabs the chainsaw herself, and she's like, "I'll do it." And she's approaching the tree when
a lightning bolt comes from the sky and strikes her. And she just strikes the tree, and then it goes through the chainsaw and it hits her, and she falls backwards. And then the crowd that gathered, the lions go like, "What happened?" "I don't know. She was struck by lightning."
I also love that line too, because this townswoman is like, "I don't know," and then she says she was struck by lightning. So yeah, she did know, actually. She definitely knew.
I mean, I guess she just didn't know the divine intervention, because that's what God's gonna do to you if you cut down
she didn't
trees.
know why it happened. She doesn't maybe she just doesn't understand electricity. She doesn't understand static.
Which is weird, because they have electric chainsaws in this town, so it's electricity.
You'd think she would get it.
But that happens.
Oh yeah, and then
Santa
so that happens. Santa comes in. Santa shows up. He's weirdly animated too. He looks like a Coca-Cola commercial compared to the rest of them. It's very odd.
And also his voice is very much pitch shift. And apparently the guy playing the narrator is the same person who voiced Santa. So
yeah,
they're like, well, let's just pitch shift his voice.
And then it'll sound more jolly. And not at all satanic.
Merry Christmas. This movie is secretly
creepy.
Satan. It's like secretly a Satan movie.
There's a lot of possession imagery going on, and everybody's weirdly lethargic. And
it's secretly a cult. Oh, did you not know? This is secretly Midsummer.
Oh, I haven't seen Midsummer. I've heard it's good. Midsummer, the prequel. Takes place at Christmas time.
Ari Aster, come on the podcast. We'll talk about whether or not you're okay.
Sure. I don't know who that is.
Oh, he directed Midsummer. And just quick tangent, but he did a Reddit AMA, and someone, because he makes really messed up horror movies, they are really good. Someone asked, "Are you okay?" And he said, "Nope."
Aw, he suffers for his art. That's nice.
Good for him.
Yeah, that's important.
Rob,
if you don't suffer for your art.
Suffer for your art. Apparently, Ari Aster's doing better.
No, you have to, or it won't be good art. That's how it works.
Oh yeah. Like you watch Sleepover, and it gave you several.
Exactly. That's why this podcast is so good. We suffer for our art.
It's like there's some movies that I don't want to watch. Like, no, I am not watching the fucking Kissing Booth. I don't want to see that.
I wouldn't be opposed to watching. That one's based on fan fiction, right?
I know, but it's also I don't want to watch The Kissing Booth. I also last year I watched the movie Holiday, which I thought this would be good. No, I was miserable during this movie, so I'm glad that Robin doesn't want to watch it either, because I don't want to watch it again.
Okay.
Because here, this is my kind of bad Christmas movie. It's this schlocky, badly animated, weird, vaguely Christian morals. That's what I like. That's what puts me in the holiday mood.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Anyways, so Santa comes, and he has Lily in his sleigh, because he just found her on the ground or something. It's not established, how he found her. It's just found something that you lost on the way, a human child.
Yeah, and then he just throws her out into the snow, and she's like, "Ouch, good to be back."
And then she reunites with her family, and Santa also, while he's flying around going, "Merry Christmas," he throws down a bunch of presents into everyone's roofs and stuff. Roofs, or into chimneys.
Yeah, he also, chimneys. He also throws, he also somehow lights up the Christmas tree. He lights up Mrs. Hopewell, and suddenly she's covered in lights.
He's God.
That's fun. Yeah, Santa is God in this movie. And, and then the mayor is like, well, Mrs. Mavilda is not what I was expecting at all. Well, how would you like to run the orphanage, Mrs. Kindle? And her husband is like, no, she'll be too busy raising 9 children. And she goes, but Ray, we only have 2 children. And I'm like, oh my God, you dumb bitch. He wants to adopt the orphans.
Also,
like,
I don't think there's
so
enough of
obvious.
them to be 9. Is he counting Mrs. Mavilda?
There's 7.
No, there'd be 7 children, plus there are 5 children, plus 2 of their own. What's the other 2? Licorice
No,
and Mrs.
9.
Mavilda?
Wait. Yeah, how many children? Wait.
I'm pretty sure there were 5. Hold up.
How many? No,
there
there's
were
got to be 7
There were
orphans.
5 children. There's Tiny, there's Nihilist,
What?
there's Can Speak Normal, there's Overalls, and there's Glasses. They have, also, these children don't have any names, so it's like, who are you?
Wait. There are only 7 children. Yeah, so who are the other? Is one of them? Okay,
one
so
of
the
them's
other 2
Buffy
children
the dog, and
are
Mrs. Mavilda counts as well.
Licorice the dog, and Mrs. Mavilda is a child now. Oh my God.
I mean, like with her
Oh my
gambling
God.
habit, she might need to be watched, basically.
Oh my God. Maybe I'm misremembering it. Maybe he does say 7.
Yeah. No, he says 9 children. It's like, bitch, you can't do math. This is why you had to leave your old town, because you dumb as hell.
Oh my God. So they adopt the children, and now they got this big happy family, still living in the orphanage, but now it's a house, I guess.
Oh, wait, Ray, what I'm just like, what job does he run? And like, you gotta pay for this shit? Because if you're no longer an orphanage, you probably can't just like get the money from the mayor. I don't know. I am thinking way too deep into this. But it's all good. And Mrs. Mavilda is okay.
Yeah, the narrator comes in. Oh, yeah. She comes in. She's, like, behind the house. So it's like, I guess that lightning bolt sent her flying.
It knocked her out of her shoes, and everyone just saw her go, yeet, through the sky.
Yep. Yeah, she landed in a snowbank near the house. She comes out, and she's still got the chainsaw, doesn't she?
I don't know.
Does she?
I don't know.
Maybe it shot out of her hands. I don't know. Anyway, so Mrs. Mavilda's still alive. Merry Christmas. And the narrator is like, she got a job working as Judy's assistant, and don't worry, she's good now.
So that lightning bolt made her good. It's like a Shazam moment. You get hit by lightning, you change.
Yeah, sure. It's exactly like the
or
DC movie Shazam.
It rewired her brain somehow. It's electroshock therapy from God.
Sure. Yeah, I love that. That sounds healthy.
And then the narrator's like, so remember, with Christmas, you always win when you're good. I'm like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that's Mrs. what you take away from the movie.
Yeah, Mrs. Mavilda learned that it's better to be good because you always win when you're good.
After she got struck by lightning.
All right, sure. I guess that's a good Christmas lesson.
That's the Christmas special.
That's the Christmas tree. I found out, I was looking at the IMDb between watching the movie and recording. I was looking at the IMDb trivia, and apparently the channel that aired this aired it once and never again.
Yep, I have the TV tropes open, but another interesting fact, the actresses who play Judy and Lily are mother and daughter in real life, so it's like, wow, I guess you guys really needed that check. And also the voices of Bob and Pappy are a son and mother, but like, wait, who's Bob? Who's Bob? Which one was...
Is Bob one of the other kids?
I don't know.
Is Bob one of the kids?
Which one was Bob? Who's Bob?
Probably one of the kids. Maybe it's the nihilistic one. Maybe it's the pitch shifted one.
I don't know, but yeah, it's just weird. It's like, wait, who is this character? Who's Bob?
I don't know.
This is the first movie you watch where I'm straight up like, who was that character?
Who can never be sure?
But that was a Christmas special, and out of all the schlocky Christmas specials, I'm like, let's watch this one, Robin.
This one, it's a lot of fun. It is very boring and forgettable, but it's still a lot of fun.
I mean, again, if you've watched it when you're slightly intoxicated on Christmas Eve, it is a good time.
I feel like it is one of those movies that would be more fun if you were on something.
Yeah, like me and Robin, we promised to do this podcast sober, but I'm like, oh God, we are feeling the effects of that.
Yeah.
Like, would Sleepover be more interesting if you were on something?
I think every movie that we've reviewed would be more interesting if you were on something. But that's the true test, is like, is it still interesting if you're not? And so far, all of them have been. Well, except After We Collided. I have zero interest in ever seeing that movie or that franchise ever again.
I know it's fine, but again, I just check out the reaction videos. Like this shit gets weird. I'm just like, where's the fantasy now? Like, is this what teens fantasize about when they're not writing fan fiction about Minecraft YouTubers?
Yep. Side note, just a friendly reminder that we do welcome any and all fan fiction sent to us. My email is ribboncartwheel@gmail.com. Send it my way.
Yep. We love fan
Just
fiction here.
kidding.
We just don't know why certain fanfics get turned into movies. Like 50 Shades, After, oh my god, there's a movie that was originally Twilight fan fiction that got turned into a movie on something called Passion Flicks.
Passion Flicks.
Which is like, it's like Netflix for schlocky romance. It's called Gabriel's Inferno.
Hell yeah. What?
Gabriel's Inferno. I have to send you
Sure.
the video, but oh yeah, I was honestly thinking like, when are we gonna do a movie on Pure Flix or Passion Flix? Because Pure Flix is like Christian Netflix,
Yes.
and Passion Flix is Passion Netflix.
Honestly, from what I've seen from Pure Flix, like, it's not enjoyably bad, it's just bad.
Okay.
So, but Passion Flix I have no frame of reference for, so maybe that one could be more fun.
Yeah, but like again, After We Collided is when we almost watched porn together. I don't know, like when we're going on Passion Flix, we're basically asking for it this time.
Yeah, that's okay.
Because it's just schlocky romance movies with men who are good looking but have like the personality of a brick. It's like,
Yep. Just like on dating apps. Wow, full circle. Full circle, let's end the podcast.
I'm actually glad that this is one of the first schlocky animated movies we watch, because there will be more.
This, fun fact, out of all the movies that we've reviewed so far, this is the one with the lowest rating on IMDb.
Oh yeah, when we were talking about movies to watch, I'm like, maybe we should watch this and that, and Rob was like, no, this one has the lowest IMDb rating.
If it's between two movies, that is my frame of reference. If we're trying to decide between two movies, I look up the ratings, and whichever one has a lower rating, we decide to do.
Anything else you want to say about the movie, Robin?
Final thoughts.
Yeah, final thoughts on the Christmas tree.
I loved it a little bit. That's how I feel about it. I loved it, but only a little bit. The way that you love a good meal. You're like, this is nice, but I'll never have it again, and that is fine. I'll always have the memory.
All right, my final thoughts.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. And my final thoughts is, if you want to get... excuse me, burped. If you want to get into the Christmas spirit, then curl up with your significant other with a cup of cocoa or straight-up alcohol and watch the Christmas tree. Although if you want more...
You will break up. If you do that, you will break up.
Or, I don't know, like, if you want to see other really interesting Christmas specials, I recommend Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, Holiday Hijinks, the Pokemon Christmas special. What?
Sorry, Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. I feel like I watched that one a significant amount as a kid.
The one where Grandma does get run over by a reindeer, then it cuts to Grandma's funeral. Or
does it? Oh my god.
Well, everyone's really
literally
black
the only
and
thing
shit.
the only thing I remember about that movie is there's a line about preservatives in fruitcake, and it taught me the word preservatives when I was a kid because I didn't know what that was.
Oh, yeah, that's Christmas. Or
that could be a fun one, maybe next year.
Yeah. Or, yeah, so if you want other good Christmas specials to get you in the mood with your significant other, you got Christmas Tree, Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, the Pokemon episode that got banned because apparently Jinx looked like blackface.
Yikes.
Yep. It got banned.
That has something to do with Christmas?
Oh, yeah, there's an episode of Pokemon called Holiday Hijinks where Ash... with the Pokemon Jinx, it's something I actually haven't seen it, but I know Santa Claus is in it, so
hell yeah,
that's interesting. Also, like apparently there are Pokemon Christmas songs too, so that's very interesting.
That sounds very fun.
Yeah, of course I know that there are Pokemon Christmas songs, but yeah.
All right, maybe next year.
Maybe
for now, hope you have a happy and safe holiday season, and I'm very happy to have spent this holiday season with you, Alesandria.
Thank you. And for me, I am happy to do the same. I don't like some people want to watch Love Actually during Christmas, but I'm like, nah, man, we are going to watch Gremlins or The Christmas Tree. Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and a happy new year.
Stay safe during Christmas. Don't drink too much eggnog. Oh.
Or do.
Oh yeah, Christmas with your relatives can be real difficult. Basically, take care of your mental health this Christmas by listening to the podcast or watching some good old schlocky Christmas specials. Okay.
Merry Christmas!
Happy holidays! Is that it? Are we ending?
If you'd like to follow us,
right.
if you'd like to follow us online, I am at Ribbon Cartwheel
on Twitter and Instagram.
Yep.
And I'm at Santrification on Twitter and Instagram as well.
You can also follow the podcast
at Untitled BM Pod on Twitter and Untitled Bad Movie Podcast on Instagram, which I both run.
Also, thank you to Ario Nazarate for our theme song. You can follow him at Ario Nazarate on Twitter as well as on SoundCloud. Thanks for listening.
This has been the Untitled Bad Movie Podcast.
Now go kiss somebody under the mistletoe, you filthy animals.
What?